Welcome back to another Pokemon Professor review. We've had our friends come back and join us, and now Evie has gotten involved in the mix to help us with equations. Now, equations are an extension of what we learned about expressions. So when we had expressions, these were mathematical statements. Well, now with equations, we're saying, well, what if two mathematical statements are equal to each other? So here's some examples we started with expressions. I have 5 apples and 6 oranges. So we still have our 5 for the apple, and is addition, and 6 for the oranges. Now I'm going to take this numeric expression and turn it into an equation by setting it equal to another expression that means the same thing. So back in our expressions video, you might have already said, well, isn't 5 plus 6 11? And that's how this sentence ends, which makes 11 pieces of fruit. So I have a numeric expression on the left and a numeric expression on the right, and I've said that these two expressions are the same, which makes it an equation. I can do the same thing again with our second example. We have 5 apples, and means addition, but now I have some oranges, so just like with our expressions video, I'm going to use the variable b. Now I'm going to say which makes 11 pieces of fruit, so I'm saying 5 plus some oranges make 11 pieces of fruit, or 5 plus b equals 11. And with our third example, I have some apples, which became our variable a, and is addition, some oranges, which became our letter b, makes 11 pieces of fruit, so we say equals 11. Now, as you look at these, this is a lot of what you did in elementary school. We're going to work a lot with these in algebra. And we're even going to begin to look at equations like this in algebra as well. Okay, I'm going to do a little erasing magic and move on to our next set of examples. Okay, now we're going to look at some specific types of equations. We are going to only look at the basic equations at this time: addition equations, subtraction equations, multiplication equations, and division. These are the 4 basic types of equations, and all other equations are extensions of these 4 basic ones. So the first type of equation we're going to look at is an addition. This is where you have an expression, an algebraic expression using the operation of addition equal to a single number. In this case, we are going to use the properties of equality. So hopefully you remember these basic properties of equality that tell us that if we do the same operation to both sides of an equation, we will get equivalent equations. Now, equivalent equations, of course, meaning equations that have the same meaning. So in this case, I want to get this variable x all by itself, so I need to get rid of or undo the addition of 2. So to do that, I am going to use the subtraction property of equality, which says I can subtract the same thing from both sides of an equation, and it will result in an equivalent equation. Now, for some of you, the way I've written this up here may seem a little weird. Why did I write it like this? Well, this is something that we call in line. This is where we write the operations we're doing in the same line as the equation, which if you are going to be typing, which you will be doing in many of your math classes, then we like to keep it in line. That way we don't have to worry about sliding things over or advanced formatting options. So this is how you're going to see a lot of your math teachers writing out solving equations. So get used to this formatting. Now, I look at plus 2 and minus 2. Plus 2 minus 2 cancel each other out, which leaves me with just an x on the left side of the equation. On the right side, I go ahead and I simplify 6 minus 2. 6 minus 2 makes 4. And that is how we solve an addition equation. Subtraction equation. Algebraic expression containing subtraction equal to a number. In this case, we're going to use the property, we're going to use the addition property of equality to add the same amount to both sides. In this case, I'm adding 2. That way I can take negative 2 and positive 2, and they will cancel each other out, and I will be left with x on the left side. 6 plus 2 makes 8 on the right side. Okay, moving on to our next level of equations, multiplication equations. This is where I have multiplication expression on the left side. However, this is not typically how we write our multiplication equations. We do not typically put a dot between the number and the variable. Instead, we just write the number in front of the variable, and that is understood as meaning multiplication. So I have a multiplication expression on the left side equal to a number on the right side. In order to solve this equation, I need to multiply both sides by the reciprocal of this number. In this case, the reciprocal of 2 is going to be 1/2. So I multiply 1/2 on both sides. The 1/2 and the 2 cancel out, and I'm left with x equals 6 times 1/2, or 1/2 of 6 is 3. Last but not least, division. Here I have x divided by a number. X divided by the number is the same thing as taking x times a fraction, and just like we did with multiplication equations, we're going to do the same thing with division equations, and we are going to multiply by the reciprocal. The reciprocal of 1/2 is 2, so I multiply both sides by 2. The 2 and the 1/2 cancel, and I'm left with x equals 12. All the equations that we're going to be solving throughout Algebra 1 will be connected back to these one-step equations. So it is incredibly important you understand how these one-step equations get solved. Thank you for joining us today. Watch us for our next video.